Okay, so you can see in the middle of this, all this black area where we put down the paper for to keep the weeds back. This should have all been filled up with garden beds, but it's not. There should be, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more beds in these areas, but that did not happen. And as you guys hopefully remember, if you don't, I will go ahead and post the video in the iCards or below in the description where our greenhouse our greenhouse fell down during the winter. It collapsed with the snow load. So we went ahead and made one of the garden beds into a makeshift greenhouse this year, and it's been working pretty good. We've got several varieties of tomatoes, and as you can see, we've got some tomatoes going on right now. So, you know, that makes me happy. Then down here we have some peppers, most jalapenos. I think we have some habaneros. Nick pretty much, oh, ancho. We have some anchos. I don't know if we have habaneros or not. Oh, anyway, no, I think mostly anchos and jalapenos. This looks like what Nick picked out. And then over here, we were going to plant the potatoes in the bed or in the ground this year. We weren't even going to bother doing it in the grow boxes like I've done in the past, but we went ahead. I had all these bags, and we're not going to keep putting the boards up the sides of these. We've tried this method several years. We were not happy with the results. Last year we had such an issue with the grasshoppers, and we just decided, you know what, we're just going back to mostly the good old-fashioned way of putting them in the ground. But we're also experimenting over here with this method. Now, these aren't as high up as the normal ones in the ground, but this is called the Ruth Stout method or something similar to it. And we're just kind of experimenting to see what kind of yields we can get. But these are growing great. You can see in the leaves, you know, the hail kind of busted them up, but you know, they'll survive that. Really no big deal. You probably can't see them. They don't look like they're out. They look like they're inside. It just stopped raining just a minute ago. We have a new batch of Buff Orpington chickens, and then we're getting ready in this cute little coop thing over here, chicken tractor, to put in some a bunch of smaller chickens that we got, and then we're going to switch out all our chickens this year. We'll butcher what we've got on hand. Here's where most of the damage was done in the storm. Our mustard greens are pretty beat up. I mean, all of that was literally due to the hail. Once the sun gets out good, this is all my butter lettuce. Once the sun gets out good, we'll see how much of it revives and how much we just have to yank out. But I'm wondering how well you can see that. It just really beat it up. It looked beautiful. I was so sad because I'd planned on giving you a different kind of garden tour and showing you at least what we were growing this year, even though it wasn't to the extent if we wanted, you know, growth-wise, the amount of things we want to grow. Everything was growing really well. Here's our carrots, and we have a few bald spots in there that we'll fill here soon. This is our onions. Our onions are doing great. We're using Patterson. We planted Patterson onions this year, and the reason we chose that variety is specifically it's a good storage onion, and like I said, we're doing some experimenting this year with different things to see how they go. Our garlic that we planted last fall, some of it came up real well, but we have quite a few bald spots, and I think what we did incorrectly was when we put the hay on it for the winter to protect it, I think we put it way too thick. So I'm not so sure. So we've thrown some radishes in there, and we'll keep just putting some short growth things in there that don't take very long to grow. And then these two bunches down here are actually some celery that I had stuck in some water, some celery I bought at the store, and I was just playing around. I wanted to see how it would do. And then my zucchini plants, I have 2 this year. My neighbor's growing yellow squash, and I have green zucchini. So we're hoping she and I can trade a bit, and both of us get some variety. But you can see once again how the hail just really beat up these plants. But other than that, they are quite happy. In fact, I thought after the crazy downpour, they were standing almost taller. Let's see if I can get out of the sun here and show you. Yeah, it just really beat it up. But like I said, seems to be doing okay. Yeah. Hail in July. All right, and then we only have 2 more beds to show you at the moment. This is a perennial bed that we planted. So these are mints and sage, and I have a bunch of sugar bush, which is stevia plants. My chamomile is doing amazing. I have 3 different varieties of lavender, and they're not doing bad, but they're not particularly thriving. Now this bed, I don't know if you can see it, all little round pieces. We did this whole bed with rabbit manure to see how that would do. Now this, like I said, this end is not, it didn't grow as crazy as this end. And then of course it's the things we planted there as well. So we have several different varieties. We have mint and different peppermints, mojito mint, a lot of catnip, and a bunch of lemon balm, because that is my favorite tea to drink in the evening. Okay, and then over here, this one last bed, I planted a bunch of strawberries this year. We've just been eating them as we go. They're June bearing. It was really my goal this year, not so much that we're trying to raise everything that we put on our plate, but that we establish foods that are going to come back next year. So strawberries, you know, we wanted some berries. That one might be ready to eat. I'll have to check that out here in a minute when we close this off. And then we got a few cabbages, cauliflower, and broccoli. Once again, we are not feeding our family off of this garden this year. We just have enough to kind of enjoy. We also planted these kind of late, and I thought, oh, well, most likely they're just going to go to seed. But if they go to seed, for me, that's not the end of the world. I just use those leaves to dehydrate and put in my green powder, which I then add to our foods throughout the year. So I make good use of it. But it does look like we're getting some cabbages at this point, and I have had some, let's see, is there anyone on there? Wait a minute. Oh yeah, this little broccoli is going on. We'll see if it goes to seed or not. And then we do have some cauliflower. I can't see that one very well, but they are in there. It's hard to see in the camera. So that's a little frustrating, but you know, we're getting there. Now out here you can still see we have the dirt mound, which we have plans for as we build these other beds. And then what we've decided is we're not doing it anymore. We're going to finish these 6 beds in here because this is how this area was created to continue to set that up. But then out to, I don't know if you can see, let me see, right there, out, well, oops. So past where that little chicken coop is an electric fence line. But that big tree, actually, this big tree right over here, that one right there, is going to be where our fence line goes. And then we're just going to till all this up and plant this in the ground, everything else in the future. We still need to put the greenhouse back together, and that's over here. And we're, you know, baby steps, right? Hopefully before winter. But the plans here at this point is we are going to dig this whole thing out, put geothermal piping through it to hopefully create a pretty year-round constant temperature in there, or at least a lot better than what we would get by just assembling it by itself. Since we're doing this over anyways, we might as well make the most of it. So that is hopefully on the agenda to get done this year. But as you and I both know, agendas can be large and not everything gets accomplished. And then we just have a rosemary, some random stuff. These guys need to get planted. That is, I forgot the name. Oh, rhubarb chard, I believe is what that is right now. Yeah, so that's pretty much the end. Let me see if I can turn this around and chat with you one more time.